This motherfucker right here.
But I also think it's not practical to think that we can do due process on 8 million people.
That is Brian Kilmeade, the Curly of Fox and Friends, talking about why illegal immigrants don't need due process. That is dangerous. Due process is afforded to everybody, including illegal immigrants, in the Constitution. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, is arguing that undocumented violent criminals shouldn't be deported. They absolutely should be. Everybody agrees on this. The problem is, who are you deporting and how are you doing it? Because if you're not giving due process to these people, then there's a chance that you're sending somebody out that should not be.
Have you thought about the balance of it? And if someone's caught up there that shouldn't be, there's an interesting inquiry you could have there.
That is more than an inquiry, Brian. That is unconstitutional. So why should you care? Well, the progression of this has been absolutely terrifying. First, it was about deporting violent criminals. Then it was about deporting anybody who was here illegally. Now, they've revoked the legal status of over 500,000 people who are here legally. Want to know what's next? They're going to be taking citizenship away from people who are actual U.S. citizens. Don't believe me? They've already tried doing it. Donald Trump signed an executive order his first day in office ending birthright citizenship. Why isn't it in effect? Well, it's clearly unconstitutional and violates the 14th Amendment. And if it is ultimately ruled constitutional, it will strip the rights of millions of actual U.S. citizens, most of which have lived here their whole lives. Next is how they've gone about this. Trump used the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 in order to make this happen. Is it Aliens Enemy Act or Alien Enemies Act? Now, this has only been used 3 times before in our history. The War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. Notice anything in common there? This can only be enacted when we are at war. And the only people that can declare that we're at war is Congress. But they enacted this, and then they rounded up a bunch of immigrants, and they shipped them off to El Salvador. A judge then tried to stop them, and their response was, plane's already in the air, sorry.
They want Trump to say, I'm defying the courts. They want Tom Homan to say, I'm defying the courts. They're waiting for a Trump official so they could say, all hell is broken loose, a democracy is breaking down, but it hasn't happened.
Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, then said, quote, we are not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. So you got your wish, Curly. Now, he did do a 180 about a week later, saying that everybody got due process and they are following the law. But when you say, I don't care what the judges think, after directly getting a ruling against you, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but to me that tells me you don't care what the judges think.